a instant reaction show. It's been a little while since we've done one of these, and so especially talking about volleyball. So really excited to be sitting down here, chatting with Hannah DeYoung and Amanda. Is it Amanda Varley or Amanda Tapusoa? Like, which one should I go with here?
You can go Tapasoa. That's my married last name, so we'll
Okay.
go with that one.
All right, yeah. So we got Hannah DeYoung and Amanda Tapusoa, both excited to kind of chat about this volleyball match that we just had up in Pocatello tonight. Wildcats took the trip up to Pocatello to take on the Bengals. Had a tough weekend out on the West Coast. Wildcats ended up dropping 2 straight, losing to Sac State in straight sets, and then winning the first. Did you guys see the score of that first Portland State? There was no stream, which was really annoying, but the score in that first one was like 34-32. Nuts. Just crazy. And so Wildcats were able to take that first set, but then they couldn't get it going and ended up losing in Portland as well. So now the Wildcats sit at 11-2 with tonight's win. But so this was kind of a good tune-up match, I think. Kind of get right the ship a little bit. You get a team who's not great in Idaho State. They've really kind of struggled. And so kind of looking at the lines, looking at the stats, talk to me, ladies, about, I mean, what kind of stands out to you about this one? Because it was a short one. Wildcats sweep in straight sets and get the dub and just get right back on the bus and head back to Ogden. But what stands out to you, ladies, from this one? Hannah, why don't you start us out?
Yeah, I think, like you said, after dropping the 2 matches last week, it was nice to go up to Idaho State and kind of find our rhythm a little bit and get that confidence back, especially before heading to Colorado this weekend. So it was a nice game to kind of get ourselves prepared for that. I think the story of the game is our serving. We kind of served Idaho State out of the gym a little bit, and because we were serving so tough, our block was there too. And so I think that was kind of the success story for the Wildcats tonight, was our serving. And because we were serving tough and because Idaho State was out of system, we were successful on the block as well. So that's kind of exciting to see.
Yeah, good points there. Wildcats ended up with 7 service aces on the night. And then, like you said, the block was there, getting quite a few there. I think looking at the stats, Sam Shees had a really good night. Had four solo blocks herself with 3 assists. Like, just good night for her, along with some others. But Amanda, what about you? What kind of stands out from looking at the numbers here from this match up in Pocatello tonight?
I think for sure the aces are huge. I think the fact that the Idaho State only had 1 ace against us is a big thing, because that means that we were passing really well, that we were passing, we call it a 2 pass, which means you can set 2 people out of the pass, which is usually what we aim for. And so I think that because they only aced us once, our passing was on point, which means we're able to run our offense, which opens up a lot more options for the pin hitters, like the outside and the right side, because we were able to run Sam more often. I don't see Sam's kills on here, but I'm sure she had a pretty good amount of attempts, and it was able to open her up a lot. So I think that was huge, the fact that we passed well and that they only had 1 ace on us, which is really nice.
Yeah, so Sam ended up with 5 kills on the night, 15 attempts, so hitting 333 right there. And I mean,
Yeah.
hey man, if you're hitting 333, like not a bad percentage to be hitting on 15 attempts. So she had a good night, along with, like we noted, the blocks. And I feel like on the defensive side of the ball, you look across the digs, it was kind of spread out. Of course, Michaela Sorensen always out there doing her best, and she ended up with 16 digs, but everybody kind of got involved. Rylan had 7 digs. Danny Ney ended up having 8 digs. Bailey had 3 digs. Bailey Bodley. Kate Stanford was 6. Ashlyn Power was 7. Everybody's just kind of getting involved, playing good defense, and so it's nice to see that. Talk to me a little bit about. So you noted that, of course, the good service kind of gets Idaho State out of system, gets them rotating in ways that they're not accustomed to, and so it gives the block this opportunity. Talk to me a little bit about, you ladies both have experience playing against Idaho State. I mean, is that kind of the MO? Because it feels like, I mean, I'd have to go back and look at the stats. I don't know the last time that we lost a volleyball match to Idaho State. So, I mean, talk to me. Is this sort of like the norm for any time that the Wildcats play the Bengals? Like, tell me about what your experience has been playing against the Bengals, Amanda.
Well, the Bengals now are very different from the Bengals when I played. Idaho State was really good when I was there. When I first came to Weber, they were all about running their middle. They had a middle blocker that ran the ball like crazy, and so it was their MO. Then again, it was a completely different team. Like I said, they were really good back when I was playing. And so I think they've had some coaching changes within the last couple of years. This is like their second set of coaches since my time playing. So I think that could have an effect on it. Coaching changes are hard for any team because you got to kind of start from ground zero. But it looks like they're not really running like the middles because they're not passing as well because, like I said, there's 7 aces on them. So they're probably not passing well enough to run the middles, and any team that can run the middles is going to have an advantage because it opens everything up and it delays the other team's middle blocker for your pin hitters. So that opens up a huge amount of court. So it's very different from when I played against them because running the middle was their MO.
Yeah, and like you said, not passing the ball well tonight. That's a function of course, doing well at the service line, but also, I mean, only 20 assists among the whole team. And National Power had 26 all by herself. So not passing the ball super well and distributing. Hannah, what else about Idaho State kind of stands out to you? Because like Amanda noted, there have been some coaching changes since the days when she played. Idaho State's not been a program that has been very good of late because of some of those coaching changes. Like, talk to us a little bit about how this program has changed, maybe for the worse, it sounds like, but maybe for the better. I don't know.
Yeah. So when I played there, we always expected a battle with Idaho State. It was always, we knew we were going in, they're kind of our rival. We want to go into their place and beat them up. They want to come to our place and beat us up. And so my senior year, we had some like tough 5-set matches with these guys. We ended up winning the last time we played on my senior year, but it was always kind of a battle against these guys. And so it was always very competitive. And I don't know, I just kind of feel like tonight watching, there's not that competitiveness that there was just a couple years ago. And so, but like we've mentioned, it's kind of hard to be competitive and get something going when, you're passing ones. Amanda mentioned passing twos on our side. So passing ones, meaning they only have one option they can set. And so when you only have one person you can set, it makes it really hard to kind of get anything going. So I don't know. I guess the Idaho State I played against, there was always kind of a dogfight and a battle. And I don't know, that's just kind of lacking these days a little bit. But I think it's a testament to Weber State and how much, they've improved. And I think they are just, the sky's the limit for them, and they're just continuously improving their game. And so I think it's a testament to Weber State and what they've been able to do in the couple of years, even since I've graduated. So.
Yeah, ladies. So you both kind of noted that, the change in personnel, which comes with a change in the way that they run their team. It's not the Idaho State of old. This team is not as competitive, and the Wildcats are, kind of on this trajectory right now. But I wondered, it sounds like, maybe Idaho State in your time was sort of like the Northern Colorado, where it was just, this is the team that you always seem to see that's standing in your way, that you're going to go up against and you're going to have these battles with. That was kind of the Bengals of the mid 2010s for you all. That's the team that they ran out.
Yeah, Idaho State won a conference tournament. I think they won my freshman or sophomore year, so they were always the top team in the conference. So it's kind of been interesting to see how things change, but you never know. Maybe like in the next year or two, like Hannah and I can attest from that rebuilding a program and starting with a new coach, like it's rough at the beginning. So I mean, you never know. They could in a year or two, things could change for Idaho State. Like I said, you never know. Building a program is really rocky at the beginning. So.
Yeah, and I was going to ask about that. I mean, so in football, a lot of times, so you have a coach come in, it's going to take 2 3 seasons if they're good to really start to turn the ship around. I mean, even a great coach like Jay Hill struggled first couple of seasons, and then in year 3 you start to see success making the playoffs and stuff like that. But for volleyball, it's a lot smaller group of ladies to recruit. And so, I mean, what does that trajectory look like? So if you're a team that's just kind of really down in the base now in the Big Sky, I mean, and you have a brand new head coach who really is dynamic, somebody like Jeremiah Larson, shout out to Maya because he's done a great job. But I mean, what does that normally look like in volleyball to turn a program around from being, a bottom of the barrel Big Sky squad to being somebody who can be competitive in the conference tournament? I mean, is it 2 years? Is it 4 years? Like, what does it normally look like if you have somebody who's talented and can recruit good folks?
I mean, I went through that like 100%. Like most of my college career was rebuilding the program. My senior year, so that'd be Maya's 3rd year coaching us because he came in the spring of my freshman year. So the 3rd year he was with us is when I feel like we were I think we were competitive my junior year. We just like had some kinks to work out, but for sure, like my senior year, making it to the conference tournament was huge for us, and not even being like at the very bottom, but being like number 7, which I mean is still at the bottom, but not like we didn't like barely make it in. So I mean that was 3 years, and it just takes like believing that like what your new coach is telling you like is gonna work. I think that was like the biggest thing for me, like buying into what Maya was teaching us and like buying into the things and the fact that he believed in us so much. I think is huge. Like having a coach that believes in you and you believe in what they're teaching you and what they're doing for you is huge. And I think that if you don't buy into what like they're preaching, then there's no way you'll have like a successful program within 2 to 3 years. Even though it's a smaller group of girls, I still think it's the same kind of idea. And I think it's harder, honestly, for a smaller group of people because I think with football, because you have so many, you have 2nd, you have 3rd string guys that you can so easily like interchange everybody. Volleyball, it's a lot harder. Like my senior year, we only had 3 outsides, and I think we only had 3 middles because we had a middle that was sick. So like we weren't super deep, and football it's different because you can be deep and you can change out guys however you want. But everything is a little bit harder with volleyball than something big like football.
Yeah, so it sounds like if you are recruiting for volleyball, you really have to really make sure that somebody that you're going to bring on is going to be that person because there are so fewer spots that you can't miss. And if you do, it can really create issues for you in depth because I mean, now instead of having 3, you've just got 2 that you can really rely on. This 3rd person really maybe not going to work out.
Yeah.
Ladies, I want to get back to the match a little bit, and we've talked a lot about Idaho State, and I think that's enough Idaho State talk for a while. We played them this weekend in football and whooped them there, so I'm good. I'm good talking about the Bengals. Let's talk a little bit more about the Wildcats, and I want to get your MVP in this one because, like you noted, Hannah, rough weekend out on the West Coast. Some kind of some struggles there, and so nice to get back to winning ways and sweep the Bengals in straight sets. Looking at the stats, I mean, what do you think? Who's the MVP in this game, in this match tonight?
I'm going to give my MVP to Sam. Like we mentioned, she hit 333, which as a middle, you want to be aiming for that 300 mark. So she did more than was asked of her. And then, of course, I think the biggest thing there is going to be that 7 blocks for her tonight. So big night for Sam. I think I was able to watch a little bit of the game, and Sam was making really good reads. A lot of times I think as a middle, that's kind of the hardest thing is making good reads. And because we were serving tough, Sam was able to be in the right spot and make good reads. She was moving fast. She was pressed over. She was in good spots all night. And so my MVP is going to be Sam. Shout out to her. I thought she did an awesome job tonight.
Nice. So first MVP of the night. Shout out to Sam Shee, senior middle blocker, from my rival high school, Bonneville. I'm not gonna say go Lakers, but go Sam. Man, what about you? I mean, looking at the stats tonight, I mean, a lot of numbers to like here. Which one stands out most to you, and who would you crown MVP of this match?
I'm gonna give my MVP to Kate. Aces, it doesn't seem like 4 is like a really big number, but when your team total over a 3 match was 7, she's more than 50% of those aces. So I'm definitely gonna give my MVP to Kate because she just kind of like dominated when it came to her serving, and it just a service ace, it seems like, oh, like a little thing, like a little point, but a service ace can totally change like the name of the game and the momentum. So I think that her going in, serving tough, not letting up is huge. 4 aces, that's big. So I'm gonna give it mine a shout out to Kate.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely a statistic worth noting, because like you said on the stat sheet, you might go like, oh, that's like just 1 point, but like you said, it can swing momentum in a way, and you can string together a couple of good series, and all of a sudden, a couple of good service aces and some good series, 5 point swing is huge in volleyball when you've only got to go to 25. So I definitely understand what you're saying, and especially 4 all by yourself. I mean, I feel like because it's hashtag A State, it's sort of like maybe we're like desensitized to how great the Wildcats play from the service line, but they really do, and it's a strength. And I think that, like you said, Amanda, when the Wildcats are serving well, they become a team that is very difficult to beat because of what you noted earlier in this episode, talking about how good service gets the opposing team out of system, and so then they're having to scramble and move people around to do things and not able to run their offense the way that they want to run it. And so that gives the block an opportunity to, keep the ball on that side of the net. So it just produces all of these great things. And when you're not giving up at the service line, it's just absolutely wonderful to watch. And Kay Stanford got it done tonight with four service aces. So shout out to her. She's the MVP. I think, man, I'm who am I going to go with here, man? Because, gosh, this is such a special team, and a person that I think the person that I'm gonna shout out for MVP, mostly because I've been kind of watching this person progress throughout the season, and it's been really nice to watch, especially the way that the Wildcats played earlier. I'm gonna give my MVP this tonight to Bailey Bodley, and that I think that extends beyond just this match, because Bailey coming in freshman, I believe, and she's just really had this opportunity to kind of step in and be a part of that block with Sam and kind of learn from her, and work with Emma as well on the front. It's nice to kind of see things work. And now she's starting. I think I saw her name in the starting lineup tonight. When you look at things, it's like, oh well, she only had 2 block assists. Like, that's not that much goalie. But I just think that for some reason, when she's able to play, and the progression that she's had as a player this season has really been remarkable to watch. And so I hope that we can continue to see that as the stakes get higher, because like Hannah noted, this weekend, Wildcats will be taking the trip to Bear. They were very good in the spring, but the Bears have been trouble in the past in Greeley. But last time they came to Ogden, that was a sight to behold. I think we were all in the gym. That Hannah, were you there for that one?
Yes, I believe I remember beating them 25-6, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
It was about that bad anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, Amanda was definitely there too. I remember we did the live stream there, but yeah, man, like domination. And so I gotta think that a team as competitive and well coached as Northern Colorado has to be thinking like, okay, we want revenge, maybe in the way that Sac State did, right? Because I actually I ended up seeing the Sac State volleyball team in the airport on the way home that day, and I remember walking past them like, you guys Sac State? And they're like, yeah, like, you guys are really good. Yeah, a rough night, but you guys are really good. And maybe I'm not going to say that again, because we got what we got in Sacramento. So it's like no more complimenting these teams in the Big Sky, because it doesn't seem to fare well on when the Wildcats hit the road. But I got to wonder how the Bears are going to come out, because they were absolutely flat-footed by the Wildcats when they came to Club Swenson just a few weeks ago. So excited to see how this is going to shape up. But good win tonight up in Pocatello. Glad to see the Wildcats get back to winning ways. Ladies, parting thoughts on this match before we wrap this one up?
It's always good to beat Idaho State. Just like warms my heart when they beat them, because it's just just a good feeling.
Yeah. So many hard-fought battles. Want to get those dubs. Hannah, any thoughts from you before we wrap this one up?
Yeah, I think I'll just kind of go back to my initial thoughts. Just that it was a nice game to kind of get back in the swing of things and to find our confidence a little bit. And like Amanda said, it's always a good day when you beat Idaho State. So especially at their place. So I think that our girls can have a lot of confidence going into this weekend, that they can go and be successful in Greeley.
Yeah, which is exactly what we want to see. That's the place where the Wildcats won the conference championship in the spring, and so let's see if we can keep that magic in what is it, Bank of Colorado Arena or something like that.
Yeah.
we were having this debate in the Big Sky Podcast Network about who's got the best basketball arena, and there was a lot of shade thrown at that arena. So I'm fine with that. But we'll wrap this one up, ladies, like I usually do, and I say Weber State, Weber State.
Great.
Great.
Yeah, go Wildcats.